Today, my friends, we're gonna look at a very controversial topic. Which is better, The Legend of Zelda or Super Mario? Now, don't get me wrong, they're both great games. They're both fantastic franchises that everyone basically loves. This is not to choose which is shitty and which is good. This is just to compare them, to see the similarities, to see the differences, and to see which is relatively better, okay? So just a fun time, don't get this too seriously. Please, don't kill each other in the comments below. Please. Let's get started. The characters are very varied in the two franchises. In the Mario games, you have Super Mario, you have Luigi, you have Princess Peach, you have Toad, you have Bowser, you have Wario, you have Waluigi. Multiple characters and very iconic. While in The Legend of Zelda, you have Link, you have Zelda, you have Ganondorf, you have Majora, which is John a mask, I guess. And you have the guy who sells masks, the creepy merchant, I don't remember. They have very great characters, both franchises, but we can't argue this point. Mario has the most iconic characters and most memorable because, let's be honest, when you go around talking about Super Mario to people who don't know Super Mario, they know the basic characters. If you go around talking of The Legend of Zelda, most of the people think that the green little guy is Zelda. So, they're great characters, don't get me wrong, but Mario gets this point. Their stories are basically identical if you only look at the premise. Save the princess. In one you have Super Mario saving Princess Peach, and in the other you have Link saving Princess Zelda. Is that all? Not really actually, because the games got only more complex through time, okay? So, which has the better story? In my opinion, it's Legend of Zelda, because compared to Super Mario, there is a bigger lore in the Legend of Zelda games. Because you go around, you have multiple quests, it's more like an open world game, thus the story is more complex. And you have games like the Wind Waker, which are also very emotional, or Twilight Princess, Majora's Mask. Legend of Zelda has the better stories, because Super Mario, since the beginning, it's always been about going to a castle. Oh, she isn't there, let's go around, because also, if you look at Super Mario 64, what are you doing there? You're finding Princess Peach, explore multiple levels, you get to the end, oh, she's not here, let's try another painting. And Super Mario Galaxy is the same thing, only in the Galaxy. There is a little bit of story there, but it's still not enough, or not as much as in The Legend of Zelda. So, this point goes to The Legend of Zelda. Now the settings just boils down to two different things. A more weird magical one and a more fantasy focused one. You have the Mushroom Kingdoms and the Galaxy in the Super Mario games, and you have Hyrule, which is just a beautiful place to explore, plus the multiple islands in Wind Waker, or the skies when you are in Skyward Sword. This is really hard to choose which game to give the point to, because both of them are really different and really great in their own rights. Also in Super Mario, you have Super Mario Sunshine with the different islands that you have to color. It's a very colorful game. Just because I'm a bigger fantasy guy, loves swords and the Sandals games, I'm gonna give the point to The Legend of Zelda, but they're basically, it's almost a tie, but I'm gonna give the point to The Legend of Zelda just because of the kingdoms, the different dungeons that you explore. That's it. Now the biggest point that changes basically everything from these two games is the gameplay. You have the Super Mario games, which are both 2D and 3D as well as the Zelda games, The 2Ds were just simple platformers, go on a straight line and stop it there. Then they made Super Mario 64, Super Mario Sunshine, and Super Mario Galaxy, which have some really beautiful and probably the best 3D platforming in every game ever, because usually it's very hard to nail it, and they nailed it. So, thanks Nintendo. On the other hand, we have The Legend of Zelda, which is still 2D and 3D, and it's mostly about exploring the world, going in the different dungeons, completing the various missions. And again, this just depends on the kind of person that you are. If you prefer a relatively longer game, you will go with The Legend of Zelda because you have multiple side quests, the entire world to explore. While in Super Mario there are more linear levels. Not all of them, but they're mostly linear levels which you have to complete in a certain amount of time, without dying, things like that. Well, it's more, while the Legend of Zelda games are more like an RPG. So this point, still because it's my simple and honest opinion, goes to The Legend of Zelda, just because it's just a great gameplay in my opinion, more varied than the Mario games also. You have swords, you have crossbows, you have horses to ride, you have races, you can go fishing, you can go on a boat and sail exploring different islands in Wind Waker. While in Super Mario, let's be honest, great gameplay sure, but it's always go from point A to point B, jumping around, maybe shooting a bunch of fire to the enemies. So just because it's more varied and bigger, the point goes to The Legend of Zelda. And finally, the last point, the music. Both made by Koji Kondo, the main soundtracks of the game. And this one is also really tough, because you have the iconic Super Mario Bros. Theme. You know how it goes. And then you have the very, very epic soundtrack of The Legend of Zelda. Which one is better? Well, we can go with the most iconic, which is certainly the Super Mario theme, which everyone knows. But you can also go with the more epic one, the more complex one, which is The Legend of Zelda. And I'm actually gonna give this point to Super Mario. Because even though I love The Legend of Zelda, that's basically the only music that I really remember, if you don't count the opening a chest theme. But there are many, many great musics in the Mario games, more iconic, sure, even better sometimes. And my personal favorite is from Super Mario Land, if I'm not mistaken, for the Game Boy. Just listen to it. It's beautiful music. It's beautiful. So guys, which is better? To me, I just prefer The Legend of Zelda more. It is more complex, it has a little bit more story to it, it's more varied, the soundtrack is also very good, sure, but Super Mario is just as good. They are both iconic and amazing franchises that changed the face of gaming forever. And we have to be thankful for having both of them, for both being very, very great and fantastic, and I can't wait for the next installments in the franchises. So guys, tell me down below, which are your favorite franchises of Nintendo? Maybe you also prefer Metroid to both of those. Tell me if you think I'm mistaken in many of these points, tell me what you think, but please don't kill each other. I like both of those franchises, okay? Don't do like in the Witcher vs Skyrim video, oh, Skyrim is obviously better. No, it's not obviously better, they're both great franchises. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.